Hi, everyone. It's Coach BJ back with another client experience. The Coach BJ experience is what I call it. I am here with Renee Jacobs, and we're going to be talking about today the Coach BJ experience with Train the Trainer program. So, um, Renee, I'm going to start by asking you a few questions. So, I want you to first of all talk to us about your career history, education, and other titles you would like to share with us today.
Absolutely. First of all, let me just say thank you so much, Coach BJ, for having me on for this auspicious occasion. I appreciate it. Truly, the experience working with you has been phenomenal. So,
Awesome.
as she has stated, I am a Renee Jacobs, and I was in the mortgage industry for about 10 years before I entered full-time ministry. And so I served as a chaplain for about 13 years as a clinical hospital chaplain. And I also served as a military chaplain for 4 years. And for the past few years, I have been working in roles that link the importance of spirituality to behavioral health. As someone who does live with mental illness, I have opted to start my own business so that I can have a schedule that meets my needs. And my business is Jacob's Ladder Consulting LLC. And I've provided this as an avenue for others who struggle with mental health and behavioral health challenges and still desire to have their spirituality taken into consideration. You know, not everybody who is having behavioral health challenges needs to see a psychiatrist or needs to see, a professional licensed counselor. Sometimes people just need somebody to talk to, somebody to help them talk through things that they're experiencing and to help them make some actionable steps in their lives. And so that is what I am doing now. Some other titles that I hold are mom, of course, and lover of God. Those are the two most important ones for me.
Amen. I know I love it. I love it. Renee, thank you for sharing that. So I want to ask you, so there are like many other training and mentorship programs that are out there. And so what made you trust the source of hope in particular to help you achieve the outcome that you were seeking for your business and professional growth?
Absolutely. Well, I was blessed to meet Coach BJ in person at an event that the agency I was working for at the time sponsored, and she was such a breath of fresh air.
Oh.
Um, Coach BJ is so personable and so approachable and so real, which is what I truly adore about her. Like, I'm somebody who likes authenticity and transparency, and you definitely get that with Coach BJ. So I really feel like it was a God thing, if you will. I feel like God linked us spiritually, and the process in working with her has definitely confirmed that.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I just share it's been a blessing to work with you as well. So this is definitely was a God connection for sure. So let me ask you. So coming into the trainer program, what were you hoping to get out of these sessions with me? Do you believe you got what you came for?
That question, I just laughed and laughed to myself as you were saying it, because I didn't know what I was trying to get out of it.
That is an honest
Really,
response.
y'all, when I tell you I was just as green as they come, like I mean, yes, I've been in full-time ministry doing chaplaincy and I love chaplaincy, but thanks to COVID and some other things, I just was not in a position where I could continue doing ministry like that full time. And so to be able to serve God in a different way was basically all I knew that I wanted to do starting out. And I didn't know anything about like starting a business, and like there is so much. If you're listening to this and you've never started a business, like there is so much behind the scenes work that needs to happen that I was completely clueless about. And I really appreciate Coach BJ's way of approaching that. Like, I remember the first time she asked me, if I had a client, that was ready to sign up with me, what would I do? Like, do I feel like I was ready? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, 8 out of 10, I'm ready. Y'all, when I tell you, I don't know how she kept a straight face when I told her that. I was so unprepared. It was not funny. And so now, I even though I didn't know what I've expected to get, I can tell you that I got what I needed and so much more. She is a wealth of knowledge, resources coming out the wahoo. Like seriously, even now, like there are still things that she is just providing. And what's awesome about it is that Coach BJ doesn't even realize that she's doing it. You know, she is walking in the gift that God has given her, just dropping little nuggets of information left and right. And I'm like a little kid, like, get that nugget, get that nugget, get that nugget. I mean, seriously,
You're so funny.
it has been such a blessing. Like because of working with Coach BJ, one, I feel more confident about who I am and what I'm doing at this stage in my journey. And I feel just better prepared. Like I have contracts in place. I know what I expect in terms of expectations from clients. I know what types of things I'm talking to clients about. Like I have a real path that I can put not just people that I'm working with on, but that I can put myself on as I continue to grow and develop. So yes, I definitely have gotten what I needed.
All right. So, to piggyback off of that, now that you have worked with me, what would you say some of the, I would just say, immediate changes or the evolution you feel like you've gotten in just such a short period of time? I mean, we worked together for 6 weeks on the trainer program. So, I mean, how do you feel like you've evolved in just that short period of time?
Oh wow. I think I'm more realistic for one.
I love
There is nothing wrong with, keeping hope alive, and there's nothing wrong with having dreams and goals, but you got to be realistic with some of that stuff. And that has definitely been huge for me. I needed a bit of grounding in reality, which was a huge plus. But I've also been able to, like in the short amount of time. So I started working with Coach BJ immediately after I resigned from my previous employment. And it's weird. I mean, it feels like it's been so long that I've known her now, but it's really only been 6 weeks. And
it.
that's really not a lot of time when you think about it. You know, you're starting up a business, 6 weeks is not a lot of time. But when I'm not gonna say she's a taskmaster, but when I say she like really stayed on top of this is what I need you to do, this is what I expect you to do. Like she was on it and she did it in such a loving way. And so as a result of working with Coach BJ, I've got a website up and running. Like I said, I have my contract. I have so many things that I never even that were not even on my radar that I was going to need to have in place, I now have in place. And in addition to that, like there's so many ideas that come up through the course of being coached by Coach BJ that I'm like, okay, now I've got a lot of other things that I want to work on. And so, who knows? She may be coaching me in another 6 months for another 6 weeks. I don't know. But I'm just grateful that yeah, like the admin part, I think just basically the admin part of getting a business going. I mean, even simple things like, getting your EIN number. Well, I knew I needed an EIN number. She walked me through what to do. I went on the website for the IRS, roadblock every time. For some reason, they would not do it for me, via the internet. Now, I'm an educated woman. I have a master's degree, for crying out loud. It did not occur to me to just print off the form and send it to them in the mail so that then they would be able to respond to me and I'd have something in writing. Never even occurred to me. So just simple things like that. I think when you're starting out a business, you just got all these things going through your mind and it's hard to keep things in focus with regard to some aspects of the business. So having somebody as an outsider who has been through it before, who can be like, oh, well, why don't you do this? And then this could be the result of that was just so beneficial for me, so helpful for me. So yeah, thank you.
And I know the resources that you provided to help with your clients too. I know you said that was probably overwhelming because I give you quite a bit
Yeah,
of information as well.
yeah.
So with the resources, just to be able to help you get started. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to do that as well for you. One of the other things, like I always like to say, is that I look at all of the services and everything that I offer, whether it's coaching, whether it's online courses, whether it's something. I always believe that what I do is the gift that keeps on giving, right? So, what would you share with someone that will be a blessing from them that you've learned from me that will help them evolve and grow themselves? Because I always like again to think of it as how can this gift be a blessing, so once you get a little bit of me and what I've been able to share with you as a coach, how can you share what maybe something you've learned with them to help them grow and evolve as well, just to keep it going, right? Just to keep the gift
Absolutely.
going.
I'll give you a very recent example. So, the creation of the website.
Oh,
I am not a super techie person. I mean, I do okay, but yeah. So I shared with someone else recently, yesterday actually, who is interested in developing a website. And they are, like myself, have limited funds in terms of startup.
mhm.
And I shared with them the resource that Coach BJ shared with me. And when I tell you, like, you would have thought that I had given them a diamond ring with like 8 carats or something. Because it was a simple, I mean, it was so simple. That's the best way to describe it. For people who just need very cut and dry, do this. That's what that resource ended up being like. And so um we always hear about, the things that are so incredibly popular that like everybody's doing, but even with that, there are small nuggets and small corners and small pockets of um different areas on the internet, different whatever. There's always another way. There's always another way. You just have to have the right resources. You have to have those right conversations. You have to be willing to talk and network. And that's how it came up. Like this actually wasn't a resource that was given during one of my coaching sessions. It was just during like a regular old conversation. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, being open to receiving information. I think that's one of the main things is just being open to receiving information from people, and then being willing, like you said, to be, a gift to somebody else, to share that information with others. I think that's one of the greatest things that I love about Coach BJ is that she has that willingness to share. Like, coming from a Christian perspective, she truly recognizes that she's blessed to be a blessing. And so I am grateful for that. And because I have been a recipient of that blessing, I just want to pay the gift
Aw.
forward.
That is so sweet, Renee. Thank you. And
Mhm.
just the final question, just to wrap it up, is that, someone was really considering, someone out there to help them with their business. What would you say would be my competitive edge? What would set the source of hope and working with me as a coach be different from maybe anyone else that you have experienced in the past or anyone that you were probably considering as you was thinking about who could help you with resources and getting your business set up or whatever? What would you say, and any final words you want to share with everyone before we close out?
One, I would say, like Nike, the old Nike slogan, just do it.
I
Just
love
do
it.
it.
I did not
I
pay
really
attention.
need to
I'm
end it
always,
there.
I'm just like everybody else. I'm waiting to hear what the responses are because I don't know either. So I love that. Like, oh
Just
my gosh.
do it. Like seriously. I I'm someone, and having a military background, and I grew up in a very strict household. So I'm like, I grew up with there's a place for everything, everything is in its place, everything needs to be done decent and in order. She is concise, she is results oriented. And I'm like a stickler for on time. She's on time. She's gonna be on that meeting before you get on, okay? So don't show up with your bonnet on if you don't have the camera off. I'm just letting you know. But seriously, your level of professionalism balanced with your level of engagement and knowledge, perfect pair, perfect pair. And you just wrap that up and place it in somebody who truly has a love for God and God's people and doing what God is calling you to do. Perfect package as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Renee, well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And if anyone is interested in the Source of Hope Trainer program, which helps again with helping businesses to start businesses, to help with coaching resources, if you're looking at becoming a life coach and you are, have been a part of a program and you want to get started working with clients and you want more resources, I am a resource here to help you with that program. So again, Renee, thank you so much for your time and consideration in doing this interview with me today to talk about your experience with me as a coach. And I look forward to working with anyone who is looking to be trained by me in the future. You guys take care.